Welcome to another episode. We have another great guest for you. We have Todd Pias with us. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. So Todd, tell us a little bit about yourself. What got you into the industry? How long you've been in the industry?
Well, I was licensed back in 2004,
Okay.
And started off with residential, and then just switched into office, commercial, and some multifamily. I didn't quite feel the connection, like emotionally, and residential resale has probably been where the sweet spot is, I guess you could say.
Okay.
And my wife and I got together back in 16 and started working full time with this. Okay. But it's been great.
Cool,
it's been
cool.
Great,
so 2004, so you got through the 2007, 8. What was that like for you? How did you manage that?
Well, as a lot of folks and agents were doing short sales and things like that, and brokers' price opinions, I was in new home sales.
Okay.
So I was on the west side of town selling big box product, and as Californians are driving into the valley, it's Buckeyes the first exit, and here we go. Right. And I had a great product line out there.
Okay.
And
so you didn't see that?
I didn't see all the things that were going on with what residential real estate was happening and resale, but for new home sales, it was still a good market for new homes. So
makes sense. So man, that's awesome for you. Cool, good. Because it's rare that you hear, man. For me at the time, I was doing mortgages and I had to go and sell furniture for a little while. So yeah. So good for you. Well, so tell me, you said the commercial side didn't speak to you, but the residential side. What do you mean by that? What was that?
Well, it was all about cap, numbers, profit margins, and things like that. It wasn't really any kind of emotional connection. It was more just numbers rather than feelings and memories and things like that. It was all very cut and dry.
Okay.
But real estate, residential-wise, you're making memories with folks.
Makes sense.
So
okay.
It's been great.
I hear you on that. So what do your clients look like? Who do you serve?
Oh, I mean, I've served some that are 6'9", all the way down to 5'2". No, I've just all walks of life, really.
Okay,
could be anywhere from a new home buyer, first-time home buyer, to empty nesters, a second home.
Okay. So you're
a little bit of mix.
Anyone and everyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What did you do before you got into the industry?
Oh, I was working in retail management for one of the retailers here in town. I won't say the name, but developed a lot of good skills and skill set with that led me into what my wife and I do now. And it's really about taking care of the customer, the guest, and making that experience unparalleled with anything else that we've done. So just treating people right.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So what made you want to jump from retail to me? You went from, in my mind, from the pan to the fire.
Well, I think the amount of time and energy and emotion I was putting into my work in retail was working a lot, and I thought, if I could help myself grow as a person, professionally and personally, maybe take it to the next level. And I had a good friend of mine that we went to real estate school with back in 2004. Went to school together, and then we ended up working in a commercial together. So it was kind of, we did it in unison, but that was my break to get into it. So he helped me out a lot.
Makes sense. Okay.
So
cool.
But,
so you mentioned, I love what you said about your clients, just trying to show them a different experience and things like that. What do you feel like you do different than maybe some other agent in the business?
Well, over the years, I think you start to develop maybe some different ways of communicating, being a good listener, as my wife says. To be a good listener, take a lot of notes, and try to set the expectations with your clients, whether they be buyers or sellers, in advance, and you kind of set the expectations of how things are going to go through an escrow.
Right.
And being an image of difference, I think is important. We try to develop relationships organically. We do quite a bit of open houses.
Okay.
In the past, that's been very good for us for generating business and helping people that are coming in and maybe looking for different things.
Okay.
So.
Okay, makes sense. What do you feel is your biggest challenge right now in the business? Like what keeps you, I guess, your business from growing the way you want it to be?
Well, the biggest challenge, geez. Well, the competition out there,
Okay.
where you have to be, again, an image of difference and setting yourself apart. But being there when the guest or the client needs you. I mean, if it's something that they need in the next hour, is to try to be on it quickly and go above and beyond to get that done for them, and a sense of urgency.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
What do you think is the biggest misconception people outside of the industry have about what you do?
Oh, realtors?
You specifically, maybe. as
Oh,
a
me?
realtor. Or you can be general.
Misconception. Well, I mean, I think reality TV and the,
Okay.
you know, what is it, HGTV?
Right,
A lot of people
yeah.
get that, you know, where they're seeing a lot of that in the networks, and a lot of that is not the real world when it comes
Right.
down to every day and what we do. It's relentless, and it's hard work every day. Every day is different, and you put on a different hat every day, and you just take it as it comes
Makes
and
sense,
deal
yeah.
with it. Yeah.
Goes back to managing expectations, right? And my wife talks about, because she's in the medical field, and you know, it's the same thing with her industry as well. It's like that stuff really doesn't happen. It's so the TV is
Yeah,
the problem.
yeah.
Makes sense. So, as a kid, I like to talk about that a little bit.
You do?
Yeah, just
okay.
a little.
Okay.
So, as a kid, did you feel you liked to go through retail? Is that what the dream was? What was your dream? What were you?
Well, as a kid, I was blonde. I had more hair back then. It's gray. I have a little bit of blonde in it. But, you know, just living in a small town in Omaha, Nebraska, and it was going to the grocery store. I got into retail at a young age. I liked what I was doing, and but it led to a lot of different things growing up and getting more into being an adult, which sometimes it's hard to be an adult.
We're all trying it, right? We're all trying to get through it. That's for sure. So, small town Nebraska.
Small
then.
town
Okay,
Nebraska.
Okay. Who was your role model there? What was your?
Jeez. Warren Buffett. I don't know if
Okay.
you've heard of him.
I've heard a little bit about him.
Then there was a gentleman that actually started a pizza company called Godfather's Pizza. His name is Willie Thiessen. It started in Omaha. But as far as a role model, it would be the management or the team that I was working for back in the marketplace in Omaha, where I started to get, you know, what do I want to say, trained and
Yeah, I get just trained up and
molding
learning, right.
and training and things of that.
Okay.
So
Just a small town, solid of the earth people.
Yeah,
Getting you
yeah,
through. Okay.
yeah.
All right. Do you consider yourself adventurous at all?
not a rock climber or anything like that. I do hiking. I run, 4 or 5 miles a day. Other than that, yeah, but not a real adventurous. No.
What would you say the craziest thing you've done in your mind? Something you're like, I probably wouldn't do that again.
Geez, I don't know. I haven't jumped out of any planes or anything like that. You know, the craziest thing I did, but not as a kid, is I got up in a Cessna about a couple of years ago with my wife's uncle.
Okay.
And that was like a Volkswagen
All right.
taking off from the ground, and I was like, you're dug in, like you can't get out, and it's like a little seat back there, and I thought, oh my gosh. And then the pilot, which was my wife's uncle, has my wife start to take over the wheel. And I thought, this is it. I'm going to start saying a few prayers. But
Okay.
no, not too adventurous.
Okay.
No.
What made you leave small town Nebraska then? What?
My father lived out here
Okay.
in Arizona, so I left back in 1990.
Okay.
So been seasoned to Arizona, but he was recruiting me to come out and saying, hey, get out of the cold weather and come to Arizona where it's paradise.
Okay.
And it really is. If you think about it, I mean,
It is.
6 or 8 months out of the year, it's pretty good.
I can't complain. That's for sure.
No.
Can't complain. Not at all. So do you get to read much? Are you a reader?
I'm a reader. I like the Financial Times,
Okay.
Wall Street Journal, things like that. Barron's, Investors Business Daily, just to look at markets and things like that. And then real estate Inman News,
Right.
Just different things that might catch my eye to look at maybe what's kind of a pulse on the market.
So you still kind of like those numbers then?
I do, kind of, yeah.
Yeah, you do, okay. All
Yeah.
right, I get that. So is there a book that you like to talk about that you're like, man, this is a great book that you should read it?
Yeah. Well, there is a book that's by James Allen. It's As a Man Thinketh.
Okay.
It's a small little handbook. It's probably 20 or 30 pages, but I can go over it, you know, a half a dozen times or more and pull something out of it that I maybe didn't read the previous, and taking little nuggets from that.
Is there anything in particular you've learned from that book that you've implemented?
You know, it's just about how your thoughts, again, keeping a good mindset every day and have good devotion and things about what be grateful for. But the book is really about seeds, about planting seeds, and the seeds that you plant and how you can harvest them and reap what you sow. So a lot of that is just, again, it's good mindset and being positive and try to take that with every. Again, it's easy to go to a different side, but to just kind of reinforce that, as I tell my wife, it'll be okay and things will work out, and just keep the faith.
I like that.
But,
I like that. So having your wife as a partner in the business, like how do you guys, when it comes time that you've had a disagreement, how do you get to that?
No.
You're right. No one believes that.
No. She is the CEO,
Okay.
the CFO, and the COO.
Okay.
So she runs it.
Last decision is hers, and
That's
it
it.
works.
She's the
makes
boss.
It's easy that way, right? It makes it easy.
Yeah.
Okay, but so let's talk to me a little bit about how do you guys manage like the relationship outside of that? I mean, you got your business part, and then you have your intimacy that you're dealing with. How do you balance that?
I'm glad you touched on that. Well, as far as the division, sometimes we have to divide and conquer a lot, and especially the last year and a half, especially with what happened last year, we ended up breaking out and having our separate offices because we could work more independently, get more done, and not lose focus. Because when we're in an office working together, probably the size of this room, you know, when there's a phone going off, and then we've got a lot of distractions. So but as far as the business is concerned, there's a lot of things that I do really well. I like kind of going behind the scenes and taking care of whether it be transactional pieces, paperwork and such. Carol Ann is very good on the front end. I'm more on the back end. She's very dialed in and has a great communication skill set with initializing and initiating the conversation with maybe new clients and things that we've met. And then once that's started and implemented, then I kind of take over the rest of the transaction and escrow, and it works out really well.
I like that.
So it's a good division.
I like that.
But she works a lot harder than I do.
I can appreciate that. I really like that. You're finding out that there's things that you just don't do well, and it's just okay to give it to someone else.
And a lot of times I'll pick up things that she's doing. I'll listen, again, trying to be a good listener of something that I might hear her talk about with a guest or a client. I'll remember that, write it down, and then put that in, internalize it, and then I can use it as I maybe meet somebody else and try to develop that interpersonal relationship with them. So
I like it.
Yeah.
What do you think the greatest lesson your mom ever taught you?
Well, she was here today. She'd say, if you don't ask, you don't get. So I always ask. And
I like it.
That's
I like that.
number one.
I ask for discounts at restaurants where I don't care. I'll ask for any kind of discount, just give me one. So every now and then it happens. So so I work. So I like that. I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Well, I appreciate you coming on. It's been a pleasure chatting with you.
Oh, this is it. We're done.
Yeah, it's no big deal, right? I tried to tell you there's nothing big deal.
Thank you so much.
But I appreciate you coming on. I like to give you the last little bit of word, tell people where we can find you.
Oh.
Anything you want to say at the end? So where can we find you?
Well, it's toddandcarolannpias.com.
And phone number?
480-309-9998.
Easy enough.
That's easy.
Appreciate it. Thanks for
Okay,
coming on.
thanks, Marlo. Appreciate you.